Hello everybody. So quick video today. I'm very busy this weekend. Quick video to wish you a happy .day. Of course, no surprise, Michael Saylor bought Bitcoin. Every week he buys Bitcoin. That seems to be his frequency now. I don't even know if we're not going to get a buy at some point 1 week in the future. We'll see how that goes. Bitcoin is roughly flat over the weekend. It was up like 109 and then it's back down. Anyways, this is all short term. We are too zoomed in. If we look at either chart, we are too zoomed in. We need to zoom out. And when we zoom out and when we look at the long-term performance of MSTR, you can see 103% for almost 5 years, 103%. Is that going to continue? Probably not. The returns are probably going to come down slightly over time. They should come closer to the returns of Bitcoin, but I fully expect this stock to outperform Bitcoin. You may remember the Q3 2024 presentation. Saylor's stake on MSTR was it should be about 1.5, right? 1.5 times the performance of Bitcoin over the long term. I think that's pretty reasonable to assume. No financial advice, of course. One few charts that I wanted to share is, of course, in my view, they are going full steam with the preferreds. You can see the mix of the preferred. This is how they look at their mix of the preferred, and they kind of adjust the issuance of new preferreds depending on the demand each day. And those preferreds are optionality depending on who wants what each day at which point, etc., etc., etc. The point is here is, I think, for STRF, of course, we don't have enough with 2.1 billion. I think he's going to have to up that to 21 billion, the same level as STRK. Of course, the MSTR ATM, I always welcome and I always want more. And this is what the market has a really, really hard time understanding. Market has a hard time grasping that. And note that either this chart that was shared or that chart that was shared, that doesn't include the STRD. We're going to get a STRD ATM plan, in my view, at some point, but the direction, and I added this arrow, by the way, but the direction, in my view, is clearly up. They've raised 640 million on the ATMs alone, and that did not include the initial IPO, and especially the very large STRD IPO. They nearly did $1 billion on the STRD IPO. So if you include the IPOs, this is what they're at on raising on the preferred. 3.3 billion raised on the preferred. This is clearly the future, in my view. And in my view, we are not getting any convertibles anymore from Michael Saylor or from MicroStrategy, which is why I like BMAX very much, because BMAX is the main way that you can get exposure to these convertible debt. I'll conclude this video, again, very brief video today. I'll conclude this video with a recommendation or kudos to this website, strategytracker.com. Highly recommend this website. It's the only one that I found. If you know of another one, let me know in the comments section. It's the only one that I found that tracks the price to NAV over the long run. And you can see that for MicroStrategy, even though we've peaked above a 3x price to NAV a few times, we've had a hard time being above a 3, right? Price to NAV is between 1.5 and 2 in general for MicroStrategy. And that's good enough, quite frankly. That's good enough. You can ATM in a very healthy way at this level, and you can make a very nice BTC yield if you just issue new stock at 1.5 to 2. If you issue new stock at, say, 1.8, you're collecting 0.8, right? You dilute by 1, you sell a $1 bill for $1.80. So you collect 80 cents every time you lose $1, you collect $1.80, and so the difference, of course, is 80 cents. This is how BTC yield works, and this is the big debate and the big thing that a lot of people fail to understand, is that the higher the NAV, the better it is to dilute, and the better there is an interest for management to dilute. As you know, companies other than MicroStrategy are way less popular, right? I see it in the views. This MetaPlanet video right there, it actually took me quite a long time to make this video, and it's like 9 out of 10 on the channel, one of the least viewed video on the channel. So these companies, of course, are not as followed as MicroStrategy. Many of you, I've gotten like 10 of you asking me about the Smarter Web company on the Patreon, on the main YouTube, on X, and the answer to that is the Smarter Web company, has a very high MNAV. It's got an MNAV. If you go on their dashboard, they publish their dashboard on their website. By the way, I like the dashboard of the Smarter Web company really well. I can see their website building company. I like that dashboard a lot because that dashboard is showing me the variation in the price to NAV. You can see it spiked to 20x price to NAV in the middle of June. So in other words, as far as I assess the company, 8x price to NAV is much cheaper right now than 20x price to NAV. And this company, in my view, they did the right thing because they diluted heavily when they were spiking. When the price to NAV was spiking, what you want to do is you want to dilute. I know it's so counterintuitive, but when your price to NAV spikes, the last thing you want to do is let it run so that it benefits who? Short-term traders? Yeah, if you let it run, it's going to benefit short-term traders, but this is not how yield works. When it runs, you better dilute, because when you dilute, that's when you collect. Think about the Smarter Web company. When they were diluted at 20 price to NAV, they were collecting 19. So you were selling a dollar bill for $20. So your profit was $19. And I saw they released on July 4th, they released a new investor presentation. You can go take a look at it. They have a lot of education on the investor presentation, trying to explain this to investor. And what I say to them is good luck, because I'm still on this education mission of trying to explain people that it's a good thing that this company dilutes. And so they have a few slides about that. A few still understand this, and so if you're new to this company, you're like, oh, dilution bad, and you don't look at it. And what I think, and this is my working theory right now, this is true for MicroStrategy, this is true for MetaPlanet, and this seems to be true for the Smarter Web company and for the blockchain group too. The blockchain has been relentless too. It's the frequency at which the buys happen. It's how relentless the CEOs are. I want a CEO to be an anti-GameStop CEO. That makes some sense. I want to see the CEO to be in a hurry. I want the CEO to buy all the time. MetaPlanet buys every other day, roughly, right? MicroStrategy buys every week. Smarter Webco also seems to be buying every week. They never missed a week, and they've been buying more every week. And therefore, to me, that means they are relentless. I like to see that they are not taking a breather, and so they are generating the yield for their shareholder. And of course, they only have 770 Bitcoin, so they're going to be able to double this pretty quickly if they dilute right now, because they are diluting at an 8 MNAV, so you're selling a dollar for $8. So this is my take on the Smarter Web company. It requires a full deep dive. And doing a full deep dive on a company like the Smarter Web requires, listening to all sorts of interviews. It's a lot of time. I don't know if I'll do a full deep dive. I may. We'll see how many requests I get. I may, but there's a lot of them. I like that they are relentless. I like that they have a high price to MNAV, and I like that they are not shy about using their high price to MNAV. So, anyways. Hopefully you found this video interesting. Again, short video today. This was not investment advice, not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I hope you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.